You know the number one thing I like in my van? My UE boom. How simple is that? A UE boom. Out of this whole van, my UE boom is the most useful thing. Take this everywhere. So today I'm going to tell you what I would change about my van if I could do it again. So let's get into it. For those of you who don't know, we recently moved to Europe from Australia. We bought a van, converted a van, registered a van, and we're now travelling in our van full time in Europe. We're currently living in the Austrian Alps in the winter, and it's been brutal, but it's been great. It's been great, who can lie? Every day I wake up, I walk outside, and I get to see that. So when we moved to Europe from Australia, we were in a rush to get everything done in our van. So a lot of things were sort of pushed aside, maybe not done right, not done correctly, and now we're really regretting it. We've had a few things, frozen pipes, leaking pipes, mildew on the ceiling, unfortunately, which is a major problem, and the list goes on, and it's really starting to bug us now that we're looking for a place to redo everything. So I'm going to run you through what we've done so far and what we want to change so far. Okay, so probably the biggest thing is the ceiling. So it's a real pain to talk about, but sort of got to come out with it eventually. We didn't do our insulation properly, so we put insulation in the ceiling and then ran a vapor barrier over the top. But in places we ran out insulation tape and we've let it go. So now we've got a problem where we got rot on our ceiling. So within the next few months we've sort of got to take all the cupboards down, take the ceiling off, fix up the areas, and then re-put the ceiling on, put the cupboards back up, which is a major problem we're having at the moment. So that's probably number one that I wish we didn't do, that we really did properly, because now it's going to be a major hassle that we got to try and fix up. So if it's number one, make sure your insulation is done correctly and you probably won't have this problem. And so the next thing I'm going to talk about is this shower area here, and as you can see, we've got a toilet down there. This is our shower. The light in here, that's not connected yet, still with the wires hanging out. We just haven't had time because we've been working so much. To be honest, this is probably a major waste of space, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If it was up to me again, I'd probably take this shower completely out, maybe push everything back a little bit towards the bed and build the floor up of the shower, and then have a seating area on top of here. And then if you want to have a shower, lift the floor up and your curtain can come up attached to the ceiling, and you've got your shower. But so far we've found we're not using our shower that much. The toilet's useful, but I think there's another way we could do it. And then you got the seat here. Like, all this front area is sort of wasted at the moment. We've got one swivel seat and we barely use it. Whereas I think if this was a swivel seat as well, and we had a table here with another seat on the other side of the shower, it would be much more useful. So as you can see there, that's our little shower area. Toilet down there, which comes across. So if that was a swivel seat, I think it would help out a lot, help our sort of spacious in the van. So next thing we'll move into is this area here. There's a lot of storage up here. We didn't have time to put a front panel on, so we just put this little curtain on here, which sort of hides all the rubbish. But that's another job I want to do, is put a front panel over this with a little door in it so we can access things. And then that's another thing with having this shower here, is that half of this front panel is inaccessible. So it's basically a half waste. You know, I can't get in there to look around to see what's storage in there or what's better, what's worse. It's just a waste of space having the shower here. So yeah, the kitchen's actually probably one of the areas that I'm pretty happy with. We actually made this all ourselves. This is pine, and then we burnt this and put resin over the top, and it's called a shinshui ban, and it's come up really nice. But the only problem with this is that you see every little bit of dirt that gets on there. So if there's some sort of stain, it's really hard to keep clean, and it's really annoys me a lot. The next thing is probably the sink. Having a round sink is just ridiculous. It is the most stupid thing that you could ever do. You 100% need a square sink. It's round sink's just not. You got this tap that's sort of half in the middle, and you move it to the side and you got access to a tiny sink. I really wish we could change that. Okay, then we come over to the stove area. The stove area is not too bad. It's pretty good stove. It takes you a while to get used to how it turns on and off. It was cheap. We got it off Amazon. It's by K&H, some sort of German brand. But yeah, it's just a gas stove and it works okay. The only problem is that it's a 240 volt igniter, so we don't have 240 volt present at the moment unless we hook up, so we sort of just light it using a match, which isn't a problem. Would be nice to just flick a switch and have the igniter, but it's all good. So that's not really too bad of a problem. Okay, so what we've got going on here is just our cupboard for our storage. But the only problem I didn't do is I didn't put multiple shelves in there. We're actually going to use this for clothes hanging, which is just ridiculous in a van, right? It's an absolute mess at the moment, but you've got to be real. So as you can see, clothes there, and just an absolute disaster down there. So starting tomorrow, actually, I'm buying shelves and I'm putting shelves in here. It's just not useful. There's so much wasted space there that we could sort of better occupy. Alright, now we come to the seating area. This is where we sit to have our dinner. So as you can see, this bit of kitchen bench sort of lifts out, and then you get another seat there for our table and chair. Now, I see a lot of people are sort of doing this and having a design like this, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's great. I just find it hard to find somewhere to relax, you know, because if someone has to move, you got to move the whole table, and it's just like you just want to chill out for a while, especially when it's you and someone else in the van. If you just want to chill out, it's really annoying to put the table away, take everything off it, them to move, them to come back. It's really, really time consuming and painful. So, but like I said before, if it's up to me, you'd have a table and chair where the shower is. That seat would spin around, and that would be your seating area. And that way, if someone wants to get up, they can get up. You know, there's no restrictions there, and I really wish we did that. That's probably my biggest regret. Okay, so under the chair, we just have a gas bottle. Yeah, it's nothing major with a vent going out the bottom. Nothing exciting there. I've got a gas monitor, just some hooks where we put random crap, and just another simple thing about the kitchen is there's no barrier between our bedding and the kitchen. So a lot of vans I've seen lately, probably because I'm checking out for more, they have a big piece of ply coming up here, about 12 mil thick or something like that. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, just because you can hang stuff off there. It sort of separates the kitchen from the bedding area, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be putting one in, because I think it's just an absolutely great idea. So that's probably next on the list. Everything else is pretty good. I mean, our fans, we've got a Max Air fan and a Fiamma fan at the back. Yeah, they work great. We haven't really used the fans too much, to be honest, because we're living in the Alps and it's about -8 most nights, but that's all right. While we're talking about winter, though, I'll touch on the heater. We got a planar 4 kilowatt heater. It's great. We've had one problem with it, and that's because I didn't put a fuel filter in the fuel line, and one night the fuel line got clogged, and we didn't have heating for about 2 nights. And then I'll just pull the fuel pump apart, pulled it apart, started it, pumped, and then I put it all back together, and we haven't had any problems since. So I've added a fuel filter now, and that's probably our one mistake there. Another one with the heating. So under this kitchen seat here, we have our outlet for our heater. The problem we've sort of done there is we've got a 4 kilowatt heater, which is massive heater for a van, and it's only got one outlet, which is sort of a bit ridiculous, I think, because all the heat that's coming out here is just sort of dissipated around this area and spread out through this area. But towards the front of the van, if you go to the front of the van at night time, or the back of the van, it's very, very cold. So probably what I would do, or I'm going to do soon, is run another piece of vent bag underneath the kitchen and to pop out near the sliding door to give heat to that front area of the van. And then as well, the heating under the bed into the garage area can sometimes be very cold and then sort of come up through the back of the van. We're probably going to add another outlet at the back of the van so that the heater sort of heats up down there as well, because that's where the batteries are. As most of you probably know, if the batteries get cold, they'll lose charge quicker. If we keep it at a regular temperature, we'll be able to maintain a bit more of that voltage, but we're still using the heater, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Finally, the last thing I would change is probably the bed. For one, it's really high, and as you can see, there's not much room between the bed and the cupboards. It's for a reason. We were actually going to be doing a lot of mountain biking, so we thought we'd put the mountain bikes underneath, and we needed enough space to put them in. This being the problem now is we haven't got our mountain bikes yet, and we're not sure if we're going to get mountain bikes. We're probably going to take the bed down a little bit and lower it, and if you notice, we sleep sideways. So we sleep here to here, Now I'm 183 centimeters tall, and from there to there is about 180. So we're thinking about changing the orientation of the bed so it goes long ways, because at the back of the bed we actually do have about 300 mil of space between that and the doors. So we're probably going to change that sometime in the future. As far as electrical system and water system, it's all pretty basic. There's nothing really exciting or things I'd change there. I think it's all pretty good. Our cables seem to need to be neatened up a lot, but that's nothing major. And as term for under the bed, that's our storage area, which is an absolute abomination. I haven't touched anything in there in terms of building things. It's just things like our water tank, our electrical systems, etc, etc. And as you can see, if you tuned in from the start, there are our wet patches up there. So you can see there's one there, and one over there. So that's our major problems we have at the moment with sealing. So I hope you guys have sort of taken note what I've done, and maybe you can put it in your own van and improve your van, because I'd hate for you to get to the situation like I'm in now, thinking I'm not 100% comfortable in my van and I want to change things. So I hope this has helped you in your van journey. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. As you know, we're traveling Europe in our van for the next 2 years, so it's a wonderful adventure and we'd love for you to join us. Thanks for watching.